We are now ready for the final review. So let's go to course review. And for review 4, we actually have to download a document. So let's click on review 4. It says download. And what we're going to do is we're going to upload that same file. We're going to answer the questions, but there's going to be some other files as well. And all of those files we're going to upload to where it says upload course review 4. So first download it, and then we're going to upload it back. So I click download, create a folder for yourself. We'll call it course review 4. So new folder. And everything you need for it will be hopefully found in there. So let's go ahead and download it. And I think here what we're going to do is explore some concepts in application software. Okay, so the first thing we need to know here is the difference between a desktop application and a cloud application. So a desktop application is one that's installed right onto your computer. A cloud application, you don't have to install it because it's already there on the internet. And we use this word cloud to refer to these programs that we use online. So on your computer and on the internet. That's all those words mean. Now, what is a word processor? Well, I'm using a word processor, and a word processor is just the traditional application that is used to create documents that we read. Maybe you might want to write a letter or a book or something that you might print out. And that's what we mean by a word processor. So the most famous word processor in the whole world is, everybody knows it. We've been using it all along. It's Microsoft Word. Now, online, yes, there is an online version of Microsoft Word. Okay, it's called Word 365. Okay, and there's even a free version of it, but it's very minimal. It doesn't have, if you look here at the desktop version, it has all these commands. But if you want, you can create a Microsoft account and type Word Online, Microsoft Word Online, and it's free. And everybody has access to it. But like I said, it's very minimal. You're not going to have the full commands that you see in the ribbon. You're not going to see the full ribbon. A better alternative to Word Online is Google Docs. Now, when you go to your Gmail, all the cloud applications, all the online applications are available from the apps button. So if I click on this and go to Google Docs, I can start a new document. Okay, just click the plus sign, or I can start it from a demo. It takes a second to load up. Okay, and I can begin typing here, and the difference between this and Microsoft Word is here we're also using menus. Okay, but almost anything you can do with Microsoft Word, you should be able to do with Google Docs. Now, don't forget, give it a name. So I'm going to call this review demo. And you're probably wondering, where is the file? So if I press enter, okay, it went to your Google Drive. So if you want to access review demo, well, you come over to the apps button again, and guess what? The file is also on the cloud. Click on your Google Drive, And here is the same file that we had before, and it is also saved to the cloud. Alternatively, you can click the File menu and you can download it as a Word document, and you can use Microsoft Word to work with it instead. So the cloud version of the word processor is Google Google Docs. That's the name. Now for spreadsheet, well, we've been working with spreadsheets all this time, and the most famous spreadsheet in the world is Excel. So Microsoft Excel, and there's an equivalent in available from Google, and it's also on the cloud. It's called Google Sheets. Okay, so if I go there, if I return to my email, click the apps button, the color is green. Let's go ahead and click on it. Let's start a blank spreadsheet, or if you prefer, you can start it from a work group. And it looks exactly like Microsoft Excel. It does a lot of the same functions. Okay, don't forget to name it. And if you want, you can also download a copy of it to your computer. Okay, so you can work on the cloud or you can work on your desktop. The next class is databases. Okay, and if you think back to Module 10, we used Microsoft Access. Okay, if you didn't take Module 10 yet, you will very soon, and it probably will be Microsoft Access or a very similar application. And we have many online versions, many online databases. So a common one that's used quite a lot is called MySQL, and that's available online. Presentation software. Well, hopefully everybody has used Microsoft PowerPoint. And there is a cloud version of the presentation software. Actually, there's a lot of presentation software out there, but one very simple, basic one is Google Slides. Okay, in case you haven't seen Google Slides yet, let me go ahead and launch it for you. So you go to the apps button, and this one is yellow. So let's go ahead and open it up. And just like we did before, we can start a blank one, or we can start a presentation from a template. There it is. Looks a lot like PowerPoint. The difference, again, is this is online, it's on the internet, and that's why we call it cloud. So you have your slide sorter here. You can add new slides, and you have all the same functionality as Microsoft PowerPoint. Again, don't forget to name it. And at any time, if you prefer, you can download it as a PowerPoint document and work on it from your desktop. So the next class of software, I don't know if we looked at it in time management, module 12, but it's available from Microsoft, okay? And it's called Microsoft Project, okay? And we'll see a screenshot of that in a minute. Now, as far as cloud versions of project management software, there are a few to choose from. If you're looking for one that's free, that you don't have to pay for, there is something called Open Project. Okay, and that is used for managing software. And we have many other classes or categories of applications, but I'm really hoping that that you're familiar with these ones, and they do kind of correspond to the modules the modules that we're doing in this program. Now, in the next question here, I'm giving you some screenshots, and you just simply have to tell me what type of application is it. So if you look at this one here, we see various tables related. Okay, now if you think back to Module 10, databases, okay, we did have to relate tables, not this many. I think we only had to relate 2 tables together. So this is a database application. Okay. In case you're not sure what to type, your choices are up here. They're the same 4 categories: word processor, spreadsheet, database, presentation, and project management. And let's go on to the next one. So here we have some tasks that have to be completed, and we can see the dependencies of the tasks. Okay, so this task has to be completed before we can go to the next. And they're arranged into phases or milestones. This is a project. This is for project management. So this is project management software, and you may be required to work with some sort of project management software in your company at some point. Next one, that's a spreadsheet, so Excel or Google Sheets. This particular example is Google Sheets, so we call this a spreadsheet. How do you recognize a spreadsheet? You have different cells that you can enter data into. You can create a formula. You can create a chart. That's what we mean by a spreadsheet application. And then finally, the last category, hopefully everyone's had a chance to use this. If not, it's a lot of fun. This is presentation software. It is Microsoft PowerPoint, but in terms of the type of application it is, it's used for creating applications. Okay. Oh, and we have one more. The last one here is a word processor. In fact, this is Microsoft Word. So we will just simply type word processor. And I hope that you can recognize each of these just by looking at them. So we'll go through it again quickly. Database, project management, a spreadsheet, presentation software, and finally a word processor. Now, in the next question, the next 2 questions, in fact, we're going to install and uninstall an application. This particular application is a browser. Okay, so if you've been using Google Chrome, this is Google Chrome. If you've been using Microsoft Edge, I don't use Microsoft Edge. Well, Firefox is just another browser. It's been popular for many years. Before you install it, you want to make sure that your computer can support it. So the CPU requirement, the memory requirement, operating systems, okay, Windows, Android, Linux. I mean, can you install it on the operating system that you want? Maybe you want to install it on your phone that uses Android, for example. And there's one more that I left out here, maybe hard drive space. And this is less important today because hard drive space is really cheap, but traditionally we had to consider this as well. So let's simply go to Firefox. Okay, on the final exam, it's not going to be Firefox, it's going to be something else. You just type Firefox minimum requirements. Okay, Firefox uh, minimum requirements, and it should give you all that information. And we can see here that we need, okay, we need a Windows-based computer, but you can also install it on Mac or Linux. I don't see Android there, so if you want it on your phone, you're out of luck. Those are the operating systems. So let's enter that first. Okay, so Windows, Mac, and Linux, and that's all that's available. Those are the only versions that are available. If you're installing it on Windows, okay, You need a Pentium 4 or better, so that's a very old processor. Pentium 4. And oftentimes they'll mention the CPU speed. Now, when we get to the next course on hardware, it's Module 2, we'll learn a little bit about CPU and memory. So sometimes it's presented like this, 2.2 gigahertz. Okay, that's the speed of the processor. It's not mentioned here. Okay, it just says Pentium 4, but that's fine. Okay. And then the memory, how much RAM needs to be on your computer? Well, if you're installing it onto Windows, you don't need much. You need about 400 megabytes of RAM, okay, or 2 gigabytes of RAM if you're using the 64-bit version of the software. There's different versions of the software, 32 and 64. So you can write either of those numbers or both. So 512 megabytes slash, and I forgot what the other one was, 2 gigabytes of RAM. And last one, not so important nowadays because we have lots of hard drive space, 200 megabytes. Okay. Now, there could be other requirements if you're downloading an application for graphics, okay, that does something graphical. You may have a requirement for your graphics card as well. Okay, so you have a basic graphics card in your computer. You may need to purchase a better graphics card, and there could be other requirements depending on the type of application. There might be other software requirements, prerequisites. You may need to install something else first before you can install the given application. So that summarizes it for Firefox. And like I said, on the final exam, I'm not going to ask you about Firefox. I'm going to ask you about something else. And then in question 2, okay, you need to install Firefox and then uninstall it and give me a screenshot. So you're just going to paste the screenshot right in here. And installing is the easiest thing in the world today. I'm not actually going to do it. You just simply click install. Let me just type Firefox again. If you haven't done it, please do it. Very important. Okay, you need experience downloading and installing. I'm just going to click on the link here. Okay, you're going to find a button that says download. You click download, you follow the instructions, and it's installed. Now, when you're ready to uninstall it, if you want to show me that it's installed, just give me a screenshot. Okay, so do a copy and paste of the screenshot here. When you're ready to uninstall it, very important. I'm going to ask you this on the exam. You go to Apps and Features in Windows. So type Apps and Features. There it is. Okay. So please make sure that you can show this to me. Here are all the applications that are currently installed on my computer. I can see I have Adobe Acrobat Reader, I have this chemistry software, and at any time, if you want to uninstall it, let's see if I have Firefox here. No, I don't have Firefox, but if I want to uninstall something, I just click on it and select uninstall. Okay, so please make sure you can find this tool on the final exam. It's very simple, but it's worth a lot. And now we want to write a simple macro. Okay, so we had a chapter on macros. We want to write a simple macro that will delete row 1 and will bold column. Oops, that's an error. It shouldn't be column 2. It should be column B. Okay, so you can correct that. So delete row 1 and column B. Okay, and then you want to copy the Visual Basic code here. All right, so let's go ahead and start Excel. Okay. and you need the developer tab in order to record macros. If you don't have a developer tab, this is how you get it. You right click, okay, you go to customize ribbon, okay, and then you want to click you want to look at the right hand side, look for the developer tab. It will be unchecked. All you have to do is check that, and it will be installed. So let me highlight it again, developer, okay, and click OK, and you should have a developer tab there. So let's begin. So all you have to do is click record macro. That's it. So record macro. Give it a name. I'm going to call it, I don't know, we'll call it review demo, any meaningful name, okay? And we click OK. Now, this part's very important. Whatever you click on, whatever you do is being recorded. So make sure that you do the absolute minimum. We want to do two things. We want to delete row 2, and we want to delete column B. Let me just quickly verify that from the assignment. We want to delete row 1, and we want to make column B bold. Okay, so let's go ahead and delete row 1. So just click on it, right click, delete. Okay, and then go to column B and make it bold, and click on bold. Okay, and that's it. Don't do anything else because it's going to record anything you click on. We are done. So we come to developer and we stop recording. Okay, let's look at what we just created. If you go to macros, here's the macro you just created. Click the edit button, and here is the visual basic code for it. And you can see here, what am I doing? I'm selecting row 1, and then I'm deleting it. Then I'm selecting column B, and I'm setting the bold setting to it to true. So all you have to do is just simply copy that code right into your assignment. Okay. And there is the code for it. Let's go on to the next set of questions here. Let me just fix the numbering. Okay, so now in the next question, we want to insert a table button into the home group. Well, that's the home group. And normally to insert a table, you have to come over here and click insert table. So there's a shortcut. There's an easier way of doing it. If you have a button right here, or maybe in the quick access toolbar, so the exam might ask you about either one, to do it right here or to put it right over here. So what we're going to do is we're going to customize. Right click, customize the ribbon. Now, before you can add a button, you need a group for it. So let's go ahead, click New Group, make sure Home tab was selected, and click New Group. Okay, let's give the group a name. We'll call it My Stuff or My Commands, My CMD, and click OK. So when I click OK here, I'm going to see a group here called My Commands. Now, what button do we want to put in there? Well, you can browse around. This could be the tricky part here. However, we know that Insert Table is in the Insert menu or the Insert tab. So if you go to All Tabs, you see Insert right there. If you click it, you can see that you can insert a table right there. Okay, and here we see Add Table, and there is Insert Table, and we can click OK. And I believe that I may have I don't know where it is. Oh, there's not enough space to show everything. So let me go back in there. Nope, let me do it again real quickly and see what happened. Yes, yes. Okay, so create a new group. Okay, rename it. My stuff, my CMD. Okay, click OK. So we see that my CMD is there. And then we want to go to all the tabs. We know that insert table is right here inside insert. Okay, we want to insert a table. And it's right there. And all we had to do is click add, and there it is. Now when I click OK, we see the insert table button right there. Now, the hardest part, of course, is finding the command. So I'm going to try to make it something easy to find. So maybe from on the final exam, it might be from popular, like I might put a delete button. I might request a delete button or something under popular, or you can go ahead and search for it. So you click all tabs, and then you go searching for the button that you want to insert. Okay, so we have that there. And let's go now to question 7. Okay, so again, just give me a screenshot so I can see that there. So now we want to start Word, write one sentence, and we want to save it as a PDF document and as a plain text. So that's pretty easy. Go to File, Save As. Okay, and then bring up the dialog box, and all the different formats are here. Okay, you can see PDF, you can see plain text. That's not necessarily what I'm going to ask you on the exam. I might ask you to save it or convert it to another format. So I'm just going to do one of them, PDF only. I'm going to save it to the same folder because you're going to upload this when you're done. Okay, and if I go to that folder, Review 4, there's the PDF document that I just created. Okay, and then in question 8, again, you're going to have to look for something here. Okay, in this case, languages and uppercase, and you're going to search for the options and just give me the screenshot. Okay, so just give me the screenshots right underneath question 8. Okay, so you get that from the options button. And I'm going to try to make it something easy to find. I think in this case, I asked for these 3 things, languages. So languages, again, are right here. So you can see the different languages. You can change your language. You can set a different language as preferred or default. The other option, ignore words in uppercase. Now, Word likes to do an automatic spell check, and it will underline a word in red if you made a spelling. So to avoid that, under proofing, you will find uppercase. So just give me a screenshot of that, okay, that you found it. On the final exam, I'll ask you to find an option, but it won't be a hard option. It'll be an easy one to find. And now we're on to the last question here, okay? We have a table, okay? So let's copy this table into Excel, okay? Sheet 1. So I think I have Excel open already. There it is. Okay, so let's go to sheet 1, and I'm going to right click, and I'm going to paste it in. Okay, you can resize or do whatever you want. So the table is there now. Now this is important for the exam. You need, just like you saved a file to a PDF, Word document, or a text document, you need to be able to save this as a CSV file or comma delimited file. So let's go ahead and try that. So I'm going to bring the file here, File, oops, Save As, bring up the dialog box, the Save As dialog box. And what form do you want to save it as? In this case, a comma delimited file, and we have a number of options to choose from. I just want to choose the option, there it is, the one that we would use for Windows. That is comma delimited. So let's go ahead and save that in course review 4 because that's all going to be uploaded. Again, on the final exam, it's not going to be a comma delimited file. It's going to be some other file format. So you just have to come in here and find it. Okay, just go and look and you'll find it. So let's go ahead and save it. Okay, we have now saved that file. If you go to that folder, you will find your comma delimited file right there, CSV. Now that is putting it into it, or that is exporting it out of Excel in a different format. In the next question, you want to import it. You want to bring it back in, and you're going to bring it back in where? Into sheet number 2. So let's try that out now. Let's start a sheet 2. Okay, this is a data function. It's right here. You might also find it from the backstage. If I go to backstage, I see I have various options here like export and open. But if I go to the data option, look carefully. What does this say here? Get the data from a CSV file. Okay, so what did we do? We had it in Excel and we saved it as a CSV. Now we need to go in the other direction. We need to bring it back into Excel. So let's click from a text or from CSV. Just takes a second. It's a little sluggish. We select the CSV file. We're bringing it into sheet 2. So we click import. And the nice thing here about this import data or get data from an external source is it gives you a little preview to make sure it's importing correctly, that it's importing the way you want it to import. And just in case it doesn't appear correctly, you might have some tools here to change it. So when I look, student ID, student name, that's the original data. So I'm just going to click load, and that is done. Okay, so when this is finished, oh, takes a minute, and there's the table. So we threw it out, we exported it as a CSV, and then we brought it back in to Excel. We can go in both directions here, and that's it. And what you want to do is you want to upload the CSV file, the Excel file, and all the other files here, the PDF file, and also upload this file as well because this contains your screenshot.